Hi, how y'all doing? It is Thursday, September 19th, about 6:25 a.m. as of recording this video. Uh, this one is going to be a little bit different. This is actually something I've been planning on doing for a little while now. Something that was suggested to me by one of my subscribers a few weeks ago now, actually. And I haven't got around to doing it, but it's definitely time. I've got a lot of videos up here now, and I know that my subscribers that have been with me since the beginning or for a while have seen all of my videos and know what's going on. But new viewers and potential subscribers may not want to go back through all those videos, and so won't know what's going on or why for any of this. So this is my attempt at a brief recap of my situation and what led me to starting this channel and starting a GoFundMe campaign to help with medical issues. There is a lot that goes into this, so I'm going to try to explain this as briefly as I can and still make it make sense. I generally try to keep my videos under 25 minutes. I may not be able to explain everything in 25 minutes, so I may have to make a part 2. But if I do that, I will do that immediately after I finish this part and post them one right behind the other. So this is primarily for new viewers and subscribers if you wish. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. If you do, that's great. I welcome you to my little community here on the tube. If you don't, that's fine too. I certainly never have, nor do I still see myself as a YouTuber. I don't like being in front of the camera. I've always been private and somewhat introverted, and I've always been just fine with that. But current circumstances require that I come out of my shell a little bit. And I figured if I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to make the most of it. So I have a GoFundMe account, and the link to that will be in the description if you would like to donate and help out. If not, that's fine too. And if you're running on a tight budget, please don't worry about donating. I know what it's like to live on the leanest kind of budget possible. Sharing the campaign is more than enough. I deeply appreciate you if you do. And if you can and would like to donate, you have my eternal gratitude. And if I'm ever in a position to where I can repay it, I will most happily do so. Unfortunately, that's not a promise I can make, but I can promise that I will one day pay it forward to the best of my ability. I'm also going to try to eventually flesh this channel out to monetize it and make a little bit of money, since I'm doing this. And I'm in the current situation I'm in. So I'm going to start at the beginning of all this. 10 years ago, in early 2014, I I was 30 and a half years old. I had a pretty good job. A good job for me. I'm certainly not a genius by any means. But I'm good with my hands. I like to fix stuff and I like to solve problems. I like to work hard. And I was working for Terminex Pest Control as a pest control technician. And it wasn't a job that a lot of guys my age wanted to do. I didn't really want to do it when I started it, but I needed a job. I had been laid off 7 months earlier, and I had just gotten married the summer before, so I was trying to find something that was going to pay me at least what I was making at my last job. And I was, beating the streets every day, trying to find something and doing menial stuff in between. My wife was a new pharmacist, so she was making pretty good money, and we were doing all right. But I needed work, and I needed decent paying work ASAP. So when this came along and they offered me a little bit more than what I was making at my last job, I jumped on it, and I got to like it. I live in St. Augustine, Florida, and with Terminex, I worked all over the northern half of Florida, basically. I worked from South Daytona all the way up to the state line, Fernandina Beach. I worked as far west as Live Oak and Cedar Key. In fact, one Friday my day started in here in St. Augustine and ended in Cedar Key. And if you don't know, that's on the Gulf Coast. So I had to drive clear across the state for 2 restaurant emergency services, which I couldn't do until after 9 p.m. So I ended up not getting home until almost 2 a.m. The next day. But I liked it. It was different. It was challenging. Again, here in Florida, spraying and praying is not an option if you actually want to solve problems and keep customers. So we always had to work hard and think problems out. We constantly had to get creative, and so it was something different every day, and there was a lot of freedom to it. I went to the office once a week for supplies and chemicals, and the rest of the time I was by myself, no supervisor hanging over my shoulder. He kept in constant contact with all of us, of course, but my supervisor was a great guy. I worked with a bunch of great guys, and it was good. I had this job for a few months. I got it started in August of 2013. And come February of 2014, I was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. No, it very likely had nothing to do with the chemicals I was working with, because they were very low toxicity, and I was very safe and strict with my PPE. So I don't think they had anything to do with it. Cancer runs in my family, especially on my dad's side. I had had type 2 diabetes since I was 28. And I was pretty healthy. I had a job at the time working in a warehouse 10, 12-hour days with a 45-minute commute each way. So I was drinking a lot of Monster Energies and Red Bulls and regular Pepsis and root beers and extra sweet coffees to stay awake and stay energized. Yes, I probably had a lot to do with giving myself diabetes, but it too runs in my family on both sides. I managed it well, and then here comes the cancer. And it was a really hard blow. It was tough to deal with, but I didn't have a choice. I had been married for 8 months to the love of my life, and I was scared, as I'm sure anybody that gets told they have it is. So I went into the treatments head first, and I did 3 months of an extremely toxic chemotherapy cocktail, especially cardiotoxic. And then I finished that, and I think I had like a month off from that. And then I did 30 days of proton radiation, which, if you don't know, proton radiation is, at least back in 2014, it was kind of a new kid on the block, different from traditional photon radiation. Proton radiation is very targeted, kind of like a laser beam, where photon radiation is like a hand grenade. Unfortunately, most of the tumors that I had were center mass in my chest, so my heart took a big brunt of the radiation, along with a bunch of the cardiotoxic chemotherapy earlier in the year. By mid-September, I was declared tentatively in remission, and then went into recovery mode. I worked all through my chemotherapy and my radiation, which was tough, but my job was very understanding, and they worked with me. Were really good throughout, and I still busted my butt to the best of my ability while doing chemotherapy and radiation at the same time. In November of 2014, my wife and I bought our house, this house that I'm sitting in now, here in St. Augustine, and I was trying to adjust to the new normal of health and life that everyone told me that I was going to have to adjust to. It was definitely not easy, but I was doing my best, and I had on and off complications over the next couple of years that nobody could really pin down. I had issues breathing, I had chest pain, issues with my heart, and the most anybody could ever say was, your baseline rhythm is off, but we're not sure why. So I was doing CT scans. I think it started out, it was like every 3 months, and or maybe 2 months after treatment was finished. I ended up having a pulmonary embolism in 2016, and there was no real rhyme or reason for that. But these microscopic spots started showing up on my lungs on the scans. Finally, in very early 2017, they were large enough to biopsy, and the cancer had come back at stage 4. It was still Hodgkin's lymphoma, but it had jumped tissue and had metastasized to my lungs. And we had confirmation of this like 5 months before our son was born, our one and only. And the doc said that cancer was more aggressive. Treatment would have to be more aggressive. You have to quit work. So that's what I did. I did not like it. I was very unhappy about it. I did not like feeling like I was not contributing. But again, she was a pharmacist, so it didn't hurt at all for me to quit work. So I did, and went on short-term disability, where we shared, household chores and everything. Beforehand, I insisted on taking over all of it that I could. So I became Johnny Homemaker, and after our son was born and she went back to work after maternity leave, I went to being Mr. Mom for 10 hours, sometimes more a day. And a lot on the weekends too, which did not bother me. I deeply love my son. I did, ever since I first laid eyes on him. Even before he was born, when I first saw the ultrasound, just something ticked. This was suddenly the most precious, most important thing in my life, and he is and always has been. So I started chemotherapy again in 2017, and I did chemotherapy until 2019. In 2019, I switched to immunotherapy and did immunotherapy until June of 21. In June of 21, my last treatment before my birthday, we stopped the treatments because I was having worsening issues with my heart. Did a whole bunch of tests and determined that the radiation and all the chemotherapy that I'd done over the years caused a lot of severe and mostly irreparable damage to my heart. Severe coronary artery disease, severe cardiomyopathy, which is scarring of the heart muscle, and that is so bad that the bottom end of my heart has atrophied. It's basically dead. And a little congestive heart failure to top it all off. So the cancer was again in remission, which was good. And there was immediate talk of open heart surgery while the cancer was in remission. Because we did a heart cath and found that at the time they said that a stent wouldn't help. I would need bypass. And right after this, my beautiful wife, mother of my child, the love of my life, decided that she was done. And she basically told me that I wasn't getting better. Now I had all these heart issues, and I was gonna probably have a heart attack and die soon. And she didn't want to be around to deal with it. She blamed me for my cancer and for my heart disease. And it certainly wasn't something that I asked for, you know, and tried to live healthy. But I don't know. So she left, and it was a really rough divorce. It gutted me and tore me up really bad. This was the person that I loved and trusted most in the entire world, and you know, we always talked about how we would always be there for each other. We would always love each other. You know, we'd go to Village Inn or IHOP and see that cute little old couple in the corner, you know, still holding hands and flirting with each other over their meals, and would say how that was going to be us, you know, in 60, 70 years. And didn't work out that way. That's what I wanted. We took our vows, and I meant them. I thought she did too, but people change, I guess. So she left, and I was living on Social Security disability. I was on her health insurance, and that I would lose as soon as the divorce was finalized. I was distraught. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I was going to make it in my condition by myself. I came very close to doing something very stupid. But my son got me through that and kept me going. He and I have had a very strong bond ever since he was a baby, and he's always been a daddy's boy. He still is now, and I knew that if I just held on to him and being the dad that he needed, I'd make it somehow. And that's what I've been doing for the last 3.5 years. But things have gotten worse. And as I knew, this video is running too long, so I'm going to stop it here and make a part 2. Please watch both parts at your leisure. But if you're new to my channel and you want to get a grasp of everything that's going on, and don't feel like watching the last 25, 26 videos that I've posted, you can start here. And I title all my videos with the date that I recorded them, so 9/19/24 is where you want to start. Talk to you again in a minute.